So this week's Parsha is the mitzvah of Parah Adumah. Is there a chumash handy here? So the Torah goes into details regarding the mitzvah of Parah Adumah, and it is one of those mitzvahs that is defined as chukah. Chukim chukakti, gzeres guzarti, ve'en lechu reshus laharher achareihem. Zois chukas ha-Torah. A lot of pages. ויקרא לך פרah אדומah תמים אשר אין במום, אשר לא עולה אויל, ונסעת מויסום אלא לא זר הכהן. Yalkut Shemoni, there's an amazing medrash. And it is a novel interpretation of this parsha. And the parsha also refers to our story, to the Jewish story. ויקרא לך פרah אלו ישראל, שנאמר כי פרah סררה סורר ישראל. אדומה אלו ישראל, שנאמר אדמו עצם מפנינים. תמימו אלו ישראל, שנאמר יוינוסי תמוסי, אשר אין במום אלו ישראל, שנאמר כולך יופו ראיוסי ומום אין בך. אשר לא יעולו עולי העול, זה דורש של ירמיהו שלא קיבלו עליהם עול מלכות שמיים. ונתת מויסם אל אלעזר הכהן זה ירמיהו הנביא שנאמר מן הכהנים אשר באנוסויס, והוציאו ישראל מחוץ למחנה. That is a remes to Golus. ושוחטו ישראל לפניו. That is a remes to Tzidkiyahu ובוניו, that were murdered and slaughtered in the same day. ושורף את הפרah לעיניו, וישרף את בית השם, שרף את בית המקדש. So these psukim refer to our story. And then va'osaf esref es aporo. Va'osaf ze HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Va'osaf nidchei Yisrael. Ish ze HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shenemar Hashem ish mochomo. Toher ze HaKadosh Baruch Hu dechsiv toher enayim mir'ois bara zefer apora ela golu yosem shel Yisrael. So this parsha talks about our tragedy and our salvation, about chorban ve'geula. And my feeling is, on this story as well, we say, chukim chukakti, gzeres guzarti, ve'en lechu reshus laharer achareihem. So one would wonder, we are the chosen people. Bocha bono mekol ha'amim. We are the beloved people. Because Baruch Hu loves us more than all the others. So why do we suffer more than all the others? Why is our story such a painful and tragic story? So thousands of years since we were born, it is only 830 years that we had a Beis HaMikdash and we had Shechina. Most of our days are days of tragedy, our days of sorrow. And so this Shabbos, we had a Kiddush in our shul. Thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Jews rejoiced after the Nisim that we saw in this very short war with Iran. And I spoke about this last week, and we spoke about this many times. I know in many shuls they said Hallel, in many shuls they say Nishmas. I am very careful not to add on any tefillas. There are so many ways to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't necessarily need to say Hallel or saying new tefillas. We had a Kiddush in our shul, and I spoke Divrei Chizuk. But let us not forget, today a soldier was killed in Gaza. This month, we lost 20 young kids in Gaza. 20 young soldiers, 20 families that will never be the same. So on one hand, we do see miracles, we do see Siyata D'Shmaya, but it's also a time of terrible pain and tragedy, and it's going on for almost 2 years. So what is our story all about? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us more than anyone else in the world, and he definitely does. Chaviv and Yisrael shenikru bonim lamokim. So why do we suffer more than all the others? We've been here before them all. We'll be here after them all. We are the people of eternity. We are the people of miracles. So this is our story, according to the Medrash. It's the story, Parshas Chukas, about Golos, about tragedy, and about Geula that will come, B'Korah B'Yameinu. And it is regarding this story as well that Chazal say, Zois Chukas HaTorah. Chukim Chukakti, Gzeres Gezarti, V'yenach Rishus Lara Lachareim. So the ultimate book about suffering and pain and coping with tragedy is Sefer Iyov. And I've learned Iyov and tried to understand what is the message. Sefer Iyov starts with a storm. And the storm tears Iyov's house asunder. His family is destroyed. All his possessions are destroyed. And he sinks into despair. And his friends come to console him. And a lengthy discussion develops, a philosophical discussion and an argument. And they dismally fail to give him chizuk. And the book ends the way it started. Once again, a storm, just like the Sefer begins. And out of the storm, HaKadosh Baruch Hu appears before Iyov. And he speaks to him directly. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks some piercing questions. Starting off, Eifo hayita biosdi aretz. Hagedna im yadata bino. Were you there when I created the world? Were you there? Alma Adanei Ahudbau, O miyara even pinoso. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks, Haniglu lecho sharei moves, v'sharei tzel mavet tir'eh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Iyov, you and your friends have it all wrong. You're trying to understand what you cannot understand. You're trying to understand what you will never understand. Your challenge is to accept what you cannot understand, not trying to figure it out. Chukim chukakti gzeres gezarti, ve'en lecho rishus lahara lachareim. As Asher Hashem, Yohav Hashem, Yochiach. Kadosh Baruch Hu always loves us, even when we are in pain. This is something we don't understand, and we shouldn't try to understand. At the end of days, looking back, we will understand. So the Gemara says, in Masechet Psochim, Lo ki yolam hazeh olam habo. B'yolam hazeh ala toiv mevorach borach hatoiv ha'meitev, ala ro mevorach borach dayan emes, lo osed lo ala kol mevorach hatoiv ha'meitev. And the Gemara is strange. Is the difference between olam hazeh and olam habo, does the difference manifest itself only in the brachas? This world is a world of pain, of suffering, of trials and tribulations. The coming world is a olam shekulei toiv, olam shekul orach. All our pains will go away. It'll be a utopian world of bliss, of blessing. There will be no pain. So why does the Gemara say the difference is what brachas we say? In this world, ala toiv mevorach hatoiv ha'meitev, ala ro mevorach borach dayan emes, lo osed lo ala kol mevorach borach dayan emes, ala kol mevorach borach hatoiv ha'meitev. My pshat is this. I said this many years ago, and I wrote it in the introduction to the first sefer I printed, Minchas Osham Baba Basa. And then I found it in the Tzlach HaPsochim, brings it b'shem HaMagid, Reb Ephraim Mereisha, and you don't know who that was. Lo said Lavoi, HaKadosh Baruch will take each and every one of us, turn them around, and now look back at the Golos. What do you see now? And all we will see is Rachamei Shamayim. Lo osed Lavoi, ala kol mevarech hatov v'hameitev. And that very same phenomena that we already said dayan emes, and the very same events which broke our hearts, and we cried oceans of tears, and those very same events, Looking back, we will say Baruch Atoi V'Ameitav. How? Why? I don't know. We cannot know. And that is the message of Eov. When after this lengthy discourse and discussion, HaKadosh Baruch Hu appears and says, were you there when I created the world? You don't understand the Seidas of Brias Oilam. This is something beyond the means of human understanding. And this is what the Medrash indicates. So the mitzvah of Parah Adumah is also a remez to the story of the Jews. Chorma Bayis, and ultimately, Va'osaf ish toher, esreifes hapora, el mokum toher, ze Yerushalayim. And that'll be the end of days. And on this story as well, the Pasuk says, Zois chukas ha-Torah, chukim chukakti, gzeres guzarti, ve'en lechorishus la'alachareim. And that's the Nesoyan of Amunah. And Betochen, we believe. We believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. And ultimately, when time will come, and we will be Zeicha to the Gula Shalema, it is only then that we will understand our story. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu should only give us Besoros Tovos. We should be able to say a lot of Baruch HaTov HaMeitavs and no longer Baruch Dayan Emes. We should only have Besoros Tovos and Yeshuas and Achames, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should take this war away. And Ishtachas Gafnoi ve'Ishtachas Teinasoi ve'Tishkoi Ta'oretz ve'Shechaftem ve'Ein ve'Notati Shalom ba'Oretz ve'Shechaftem ve'Ein Machred. We should be Mavasa Besoros Tovos, and we should deserve B'Korah B'Yomeinu to see Pnei Moshiach Tzedkenu b'Mheiro v'Yomeinu Amen.